The biggest culture shock as someone who lives in Japan and has gone back to Chicago is definitely going to be the way people leave their wallets and their cash and their credit cards on the tables in Japan. As you know, here in Chicago, if you do that, you're not going to see it again. But in Japan, it's actually a method of saving your spot at a table at a restaurant or a cafe. So that's a pretty
Hi,
big.
beautiful people. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you for stopping by supporting your girl on this channel. So, credit goes to the creators in this video. So, guys, in today's video,
I experienced in America after living in Japan for 3 years. I'm back in America after living in Japan for over 3 years, and the reverse culture shock is real. I didn't think it would ever happen to me because I've been in America for the majority of my life, but I'm really experiencing that reverse culture shock. It's getting pretty bad. What's really killing me though is the tipping. That's the biggest culture shock right now that I'm experiencing because everybody wants a tip. Everybody, everything requires a tip. Bellman at the hotel want a tip. The nail people want a tip. The servers want a tip. The cab drivers want a tip. I'm already out of a few $100s and I've only been here for less than a day just because I've had to tip everybody. And if you guys didn't know, in Japan, there is no tipping. We don't have to tip servers, nail techs, cab drivers, nobody. Tipping is not a thing. Honestly, I prefer it that way because I ain't got no money, okay? I'm getting paid in yen and it's pretty weak compared to the US dollar. So I'm like hella broke. I don't have enough money to keep tipping everyone, and I prefer not having to tip. And I will always say this, I think tipping is a scam. Now I know people try to come for me for that, but honestly, like, service workers deserve to be paid a living wage so they don't have to live off of tips, so that people like myself who don't have enough money to tip don't have to tip, because we're all struggling. So needless to say, I want to go home. And by home, I mean Japan.
These are culture shocks that I had as an American who moved to Japan in 2017. I was very surprised to find out that it was completely safe to drink the tap water. Another thing that surprised me was most people here just dry their clothes outside, and you can find the dryer machines like at laundromats and stuff, but people don't usually have dryers at their house. I was surprised that at certain public places, like even restaurants, you have to take off your shoes. Obviously, in some historical and sacred spaces, you take off your shoes, but I was surprised when I went to like a Gyukaku, which is like a chain restaurant, and I had to take off my shoes at a certain part. When I first moved here, I was very surprised that you can just leave your phone or your purse on a chair to like hold your spot while you go to the bathroom or something at like a restaurant or a cafe. I was also surprised how encouraged it is to drink publicly and get absolutely fucking blasted. I was also surprised to find out that Japanese people are extremely touchy and friendly, and like they will hug you and all that shit. A lot of people think, oh, Japanese people, like, they're very polite, they're not gonna touch you or anything, that's why they bow, but like all the Japanese people that I met are very hands.
Japan that would shock an American coming from an American who is currently living in Japan. These are all related to the workplace, and these all in fact shock me, and it is terrible that it has to be shocking. Number one, it is a law that women are required to receive menstrual leave. This has been a legal right for Japanese women since 1947. I did some research on it though, and unfortunately, less than 10% of women actually use the menstrual leave for fear of judgment, being seen as weak, and other things like that. I don't know about you, but I would be using that menstrual leave every month. I typically will request off the first to sometimes the first and the second day of my menstrual cycle every single month. And when I started doing this, it has been a game changer. I cannot believe if I were to receive actual leave for that specifically. That would just be incredible. Number two, heartbreak leave. This is exactly what it sounds like. This leave is to be used if you recently suffered from heartbreak. Absolutely been times in my life where I am so heartbroken, and going to work is the last thing that you want to do, that you're even able to do. You're just sitting in the break room bawling your eyes out. Like, imagine if you could take heartbreak leave. Number three, marriage leave. Some companies will literally provide marriage leave for couples who are getting married, and sometimes this marriage leave is even paid. Number four is childcare leave. So once the normal maternity and paternity leave ends, parents can take childcare leave up to when their kid turns 1 year old. For the first 6 months, the parents will receive 60% of their pay, and then for the rest of the time, they will receive 50% of their pay for this leave. And some of you might be thinking, well, in the States, I can just take that time off. I can take time off to get married. I can take time off for my kids. I can take time off if I'm having a heartbreak. Yes, but all of these leaves I just told you about are in addition to their regular paid leave. I just think it's amazing how Japan caters so much to women and children and families. The menstrual leave has got to be my favorite though.
In US, I like more than Japan. Coming from somebody who was born and raised in Japan but lived in US for 10 months. Number one, it's easier to talk to strangers in US than in Japan. Only times I approach a stranger in Japan is when it's really necessary, like asking for directions or asking where the bathroom is, etc. Nobody expects someone they don't know to start a small talk in Japan. So I'd go days without talking to somebody when I lived alone. And it could get really lonely. But in US, small talks are happening everywhere. So I would ask a lady in the store what cheese I should use for my pasta, and she would ask me what kind of pasta I'm making, and she would tell me which cheese is her favorite, and we would continue conversing for a minute or so. One time I was checking out my groceries, the cashier said, "Oh my god, I like this pancake mix," and I was like, "Oh, is it good? I'm gonna make pancake with blueberry," and she was like, "Oh my god, I love that too." It's just so friendly vibes in US, and those interactions sometimes make my whole day, and it warms my heart. Number two is people are more open to talking about mental health struggles. I've seen so many people talking about feeling depressed, eating disorder, body image, social anxiety, and so on. Even influencers and like celebrities are so open to those things, and that makes me feel less alone. And I learned that being able to be vulnerable and talk about those things openly is a strength, not weakness. And as a Japanese person who didn't see many people talk about their problems growing up, it changed my whole mindset toward mental health. It's one of the best things that I've
And I mean, that's so important, right? Like we always say on this channel, if you always listen to my videos to the end, mental health is very important. There are so many people that have died because their mental health was not taken care of, because they didn't focus on their mental health. They had mental health struggles, and most of the times, some countries, like she said, that when she was growing up, it wasn't a thing that was up for discussion, or maybe they were even ignorant about it. But nowadays, there are so many things, so many tools, so many people you can talk to. There is more awareness concerning mental health, and mental health is very important. So, I mean, yeah, apart from the culture shocks, there are so many things to take away from this mental health thing. So, if you are battling with mental health struggles, or you're battling with one thing or the other, your mental health might need to be checked. I mean, look into it, and that might change a thing or two about your life. Let's keep watching these videos.
American Culture Shock Part 5. Yeah, 5. This time it's about dating. I was so confused about like American dating style. So one time my friends were so cute together, so I asked her, "Are you guys like boyfriend girlfriend?" And she answered, "We're just dating. Just dating." In my head, I was like, okay, they're boyfriend girlfriend. That's so cute. I love it. And later on, they don't talk each other. I was like, wait, did you guys break up? Are you okay? And she's like, yeah, we're fine. We didn't break up. We're just dating. And that's when my friends taught me. So in America, there's friend time, dating phase, and then became boyfriend girlfriend. But in Japan, it's friends, boyfriend girlfriend. So in Japan, while they're in friends, they, like one person or both of them start having feelings towards each other, but one person decided to express the feeling, "I really like you, would you be my girlfriend or boyfriend?" And became boyfriend girlfriend. So not really like a dating phase. This is a very traditional way of Japanese people expressing their feelings and become boyfriend girlfriend. I personally like American style much.
Japan was definitely the biggest decision I ever made. While it's a beautiful place to call home, there's definitely some dark secrets to this place no one ever speaks about. The language barrier sucks. It's only 3% of people in Japan speak English, so it's really hard to make friends. I had to learn Japanese in just 4 months because I was so lonely. Men here are very old school. Flowers on every date, no splitting the bill. It's great, but sometimes I feel like just an experiment to them. Trains in Japan is by far the best in the world, but don't come to Japan if you're not street smart, because you will get lost in Shinjuku Station. My skin became completely clear with a week of moving here. Apparently, most people use filtered shower heads to avoid the harsh chemicals in the water.
Things in Japan that'll absolutely give an American a heart attack, coming from somebody who's been living here for the past 2 months. So of course, everybody's familiar with escalators and elevators, but in Japan, the stairs are where the difference comes in. In Japan, they have calories listed on each step to show you how many calories your fat ass would burn if you chose to take the stairs instead of going up the escalator or the elevator, and this is absolutely fucking hilarious to me. Japan has absolutely zero problems fat shaming its citizens, which is probably why obesity isn't an issue here. Next up, we have how quiet it is. And honestly, I don't think people really understand. You could be in the middle of a crowded area and this is what it sounds like. So outside of the occasional conversation or tourist, you really don't hear much, and I can honestly appreciate how quiet, respectful, and organized everybody is. And finally, this last one is probably the weirdest one for me, coming from America and then also living in Southeast Asia and in Europe, and it's the fact that smoking cigarettes in public is not allowed. That also includes vapes and e-pens as well, but they do have designated smoking areas, so if you do want to smoke, you can usually find them on the street in places that look like this. But what makes this crazy is the fact that there are no public intoxication laws in Japan, which means not only can you drink alcohol in public, you can get absolutely blackout drunk and nothing is gonna happen to you. You're not gonna get arrested, you're not gonna get a ticket, absolutely nothing. And not only is this legal, but it's also very normal for you to see businessmen in suits and ties blackout drunk from the night before, sleeping on a bench or on the train somewhere, which is absolutely insane to me because doing any of this will get you a first-class ticket to jail in America.
Culture shocks I experienced as an American living in Okinawa, Japan. My first culture shock is that there really isn't any garbage cans when you're out and about, and maybe bring like a bag in your car or something. I don't know, because let's say if you are just out and about and you're walking around and you get something to drink, you're not gonna have anywhere to throw that away, so you need to keep that in mind. This culture shock is probably gonna sound really stupid to some of you, but for me, it was the difference in makeup. So I knew Japan had its own makeup brands, right? But I also thought they also distributed American makeup brands, like for example, like Urban Decay or like Too Faced or stuff like that. And no, they don't. Slowly, I found my way and I found a couple stores. For example, I just found MAC here. I'm fortunate that I have access to Base and they have American makeup brands. So, third culture shock is that you don't need to tip here. People don't tip. The culture here just doesn't tip. So yeah, that was kind of different and something to get used to, because sometimes I do find myself being like, oh my god, like our server was really nice, like we should tip them, but yeah, it's just not in their culture.
What were normal about Japanese school that are not normal outside Japan? Students cleaning the school themselves after the classes are done for the day. So Japanese kids do this for 12 years, from elementary school till high school. In my experience, students get assigned to their cleaning section, for example, classroom, sports hall, lunchroom, the toilet, like literally everywhere in school. So this cleaning time usually happens after we are done with the classes and before we go home. Normally, we can't choose where we want to clean, so we kind of get assigned randomly by the teacher. So in the beginning of the semester, we kind of get nervous, oh my god, where am I gonna get assigned to? And when students get toilet, for example, we're like, ugh. But it was such a routine thing for me in Japanese school, so I thought it was normal around the world. Also, from elementary school to middle school, we had a school lunch, and we had something called lunch duty, like kyushuku toban, where a group of students go to the lunchroom before the other students, and we kind of like, plate everything on the plate and like, put the soup into the bowl and place the plate and food and even chopsticks and milk properly so everyone can come in and start eating right away. And after eating, those who are on lunch duty needed to like sweep the floor and clean the table and put the plates away to the counter. Yeah, we did the whole thing. I never questioned those things because that was all I knew. Let me know if those things are common in your country as well.
Girl, they are not common in every country, alright? I don't know about other countries, but in the United States, it's definitely not a thing, alright? Kids don't clean up their classrooms after after the class work or after the class activity, right? They are designated cleaners to do that. They come, they do their work, and everybody is good. All right, guys, I think this was the most shocking culture shock for me. Okay, permit me to say it like that. It was shocking for me because I'm like, what, really? And to an extent, it's good, but imagine a very tired student after the day's work. From 8 o'clock in the morning to like maybe 3 o'clock in the afternoon or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and then still have to stay. It's more like some people will see it like getting detention, but it's also good. It's as a way of forming the individual's perspective to life, saying that okay, I have to be held responsible. If I mess up a place, I have to clean it up and all of that. Okay, guys, you've watched the culture shocks too, from drinking of tap water, and somebody actually mentioned that the air, I mean the water is clean. I mean when she got there, her acne disappeared and all of that. So I think that is why they drink tap water. They dry their clothes outside, they take off the shoes at everywhere. Obviously Asians don't put on their shoes, the outdoor shoes inside, so they take off their shoes, they put on a different shoe inside, even in the bathroom and even at some restaurants. Okay, the portion sizes, the tipping is always a culture shock for Americans, because I mean every corner you turn to in America you have to tip, but in Japan there is zero tipping. Okay, somebody talked about the menstrual leave. Okay, that's also a culture shock for me, because I mean it makes sense, right? I wake up in the morning, I'm on my period, I can just send my boss an email that I'm on my period, I'm not coming to work. Okay, and it repeats itself the same time every month. I mean, it makes sense. I don't know about the outbreak leave though, but menstrual leave, I mean, it makes sense. So somebody else talked about it's easy to say I love you in Japanese. They don't really see it as anything. And the 50-50 bill, ladies, in Japan, it's not a thing. Okay, a guy takes you out for lunch, for dinner, for coffee, whatever, and he pays it. Oh, right. I'm sure you guys will be happy about that. And there is no small talk. You cannot see a stranger and just walk up to a stranger and talk to a stranger. I'm sure you guys have watched it all. And yes, another thing that shocked me was the staircase one, right? I mean, they want to encourage walking and exercise as much as possible. So you don't take the elevator, you take the stairs. And on each stair, I mean, it's the calories on each stair for me. I mean, what? These people are an innovation. Anyways, thank you guys for listening. If you have found value in this video, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you in my next video. Please stay safe. Mental health is important. Ciao.